Hi guys, it's John, the North Star Modeler, and I was lucky enough to get the Integy Snowplow for my Traxxas TRX4 this year in my Christmas stocking. I've put it together and mounted it on the truck, and it came with some very vague, kind of sketchy instructions, really just an exploded view. So I thought it might be helpful to put this video together to kind of walk people through how to build their own Integy plow and add this fun accessory to their Traxxas TRX4. So working through this exploded view here, I mean, the first thing I'm noticing is, you've got these part numbers 27, 28. Well, obviously those are two different kind of screws, 26s. So just to minimize the chance of making mistakes, get an old egg carton here, and I just put all the different types of screws, just organize them in this tray. And that way you've got all your parts separated. You're much less likely to then make a mistake and get halfway done with this thing and realize you've used the wrong screw. So we've got it lined up now. We've got the parts sort of all sorted out. So let's get started. So one of the first things I'm going to do here is I see the shocks ship without any oil. So I'm going to disassemble the shock assembly. And basically you're just going to hold this and turn the retention ring on the spring here that's compressing that spring. Just keep turning that until that spring will release. So you're taking tension off of that, basically putting more travel into your shock. It's an adjustment. Holding that spring, this ring holds that spring in compression. You can see the shock extending. Get to the end of that travel and we'll have the spring free and we'll fill that up with oil. So that comes off of there. Your spring is going to come out now. You have your shock, and then the top of the shock, you see you got an O-ring here, a seal for your oil. That's what that red seal is there. And then we have this cavity that we can fill with oil. And I'm going to use this, just this Traxxas silicone shock oil. I'm going to fill this up to a little bit below the threads. Okay, so I filled this up, if you can see that, but I've got it just a little bit below the threads filled up with the silicone shock oil. So now I'm going to take the shock mechanism here and the piston and get this turned on. Press that oil. I don't want any oil coming down here on my exploded view because we might have a little bit seep out when we seal this up. Get that pretty snug, and you can see when you start to move the piston in there freely that it's got some nice dampened action. Then we'll put the spring back on, pull this out so that's sort of fully extended. That'll help you get the ring back on the other side here now. Make sure you've got this on going the right way so that the narrow part of it is going to seat on the spring. And now you can begin to tighten this up, which will adjust the travel on your shocks. Get it up about quarter of an inch or so, and we'll start working on the other side. So I've mounted one of the shocks to a link and then to the bottom hole of the plow, and you can see that, follow that here with this screw assembly here going through to the bottom hole. One of the things I noticed is that this screw, as it's being called out, doesn't really delineate the size or the head here. So I think the 26 may actually be 26 millimeters, which would be helpful, but it is, yes, that is 26, as you can see there. So that's what that 26 is indicating, at least in this case. I see later on they have 28s and so forth that are shorter, so it's not going to be super helpful. But the one potential pitfall right away is that you could be easily mistaking this screw for one of the others because the heads are different. But you simply take this screw, you line it up with one of the little washers, put that on there. I do find having a pair of tweezers is helpful when you have such small, working with small little parts. And you're running that through the bottom of this into one of these guys. So one of these bushings should fit in there. You know, if something doesn't fit, you've probably got the wrong end, the wrong side. So sort of challenge yourself. If something doesn't fit, don't assume that you need to make the hole bigger or that there's some kind of problem. It's look closer. You've probably got it on the wrong side, or there's something that you're not doing correctly. And then that's going to mount on that link, and there's a small bushing here. This is all going to fit onto. That goes in there like that. And then this assembly will now turn on to the bottom of our plow blade. It's going to go in there like this. If we could get it all lined up. And I'm just simply going to tighten that down, make it snug. I know I could be using blue Loctite on this. I'm not at this point, just kind of going through a test fit, and then maybe some of the critical connections I'll come back and put some Loctite on there once we know we've got it the way we want it. Because this is ultimately going to be a symmetrical assembly, I'm doing one side, you get one thing figured out, do that, and then repeat it on the other side. So that's a good way to work through this. So now I'm going to take this shack here and secure the top. So it's the large bolt and a washer, this bushing, and then running it through this plate, and you follow this line here. It's going to go through this center set of holes, the bottom hole on that bracket. So here's the bracket, here's the hole we're going to want to line up. Already got the little washer here on the screw. We'll run that through. And then we'll put this bushing in there. This is the long one. It's going to go through like that. Then we got to orient this correctly and line it up with that bottom hole. This is threaded. So if you ever start one of these and you're thinking, why isn't this going on? Look closely, it's a threaded connection. Start them carefully, you don't want to cross thread anything. You can kind of spin it on and then tighten it up with a wrench. Okay, I'm now going to connect this lower link here. Let's see, it's going to get this crossbar, the lower crossbar. It's going through the bottom hole here. Then it's going to kind of follow this line. It's going to make a right turn, come through like this. So we're just simply going to take that screw there, the longer screw, through the link, the bushing, through this plate, and into that threaded rod. So I've got it kind of upside down here. We're looking at the other side. Here's the bottom link. Here's the threaded rod. And this is just simply going to stand up and go through there like that. We've got the other side already. So we got a long screw. We need a bushing. This bushing. The other side of our link here. Screw through that, and then we just simply got to get all of this lined up. Get it lined up and get it started. And, well, I think I've got too big a screwdriver here. And drive this home. So now we're getting there. So we've got the shock force here pulling on the bottom, but these links will then come up, meet up here to the top, and we're going to be, you can see that, we'll be getting close here to getting this assembled. Okay, we're getting close here. We just need to attach this link to the lowest hole on that upper set of 3 here on the plow blade. So try to keep a decent camera view. Insert a bushing. And this is the sort of the medium size screw now that we're working with. Get that lined up. And we'll screw this one in. Snug. Start to see here, we've got, yeah. Start to see some of that compression, shock absorption that we're going to get with the plow blade. Oh, I'm getting closer here. I'm just going to put on this back spacer bar. This kind of, I think this is going to actually carry the mounts that'll go into the truck bumper. And I'm working sort of off of both sides here. I've got one screw in on the other side, get this lined up, and then I'll put one screw in on this side, and then we'll work back and forth. Let's get this secured. Well, we're getting pretty close here. Take a look at the drawing here. Now look at the part. Pretty well got that replicated. Got this mounting bar along the back. So now we just have to put the blocks that are going to insert into the TRX4 bumper. So this part here. So we're just going to screw those on, and those screws are the ones that look like they have the countersunk holes. So we'll screw those on next. Well, I got these bumper interface bars mounted up, and you can start to see the shock action here, how that's going to work. I'm going to have to figure out how to mount this up so that we can raise and lower this with a servo. And the only thing now we have left to do here is to mount these little marker posts that add some realism here on the end of a spring mount. So I'm going to try to straighten them. They're just pieces of tubing, so they're kind of curved. I'll see if I can straighten those a little bit. We'll screw those on, and we'll have the basic plow constructed. Then we'll mount it on the truck. Well, there's the drawing there and the finished plow. I put the fun little markers on there. A little bit curved because they're made out of tubing, so maybe I'll get them a little bit straighter, but I just kind of bent them so that they would be bowing back, the speed that we're going to be blowing some snow or pushing some snow. So we got the plow together. Let's mount it up on the truck. So got the truck body here, got the chassis, got the body off. Took out the TRX4 bumper, put the snowplow into the bumper mounts. I just got to experiment with it a little bit. I'm going to try to mount a servo up in this area. I'm going to have to figure that part of it out a little bit. That's sort of the next step here. But as you can see, when I pull on this, we can get the plow to lift. So we'll be able to lift the plow as we are clearing snow. We're in Minnesota, late December. No snow yet, so we've got a little time before we need to have it working. Well, there it is with a body on it. So there's the semi-finished deal. At least the plow is assembled. I think we got it together correctly. The body's back on, and now we'll kind of work to wire up the electronics, and then we'll get another video of it working once we get some snow. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful in assembling a plow for your TRX4. Thanks.